Welcome to the Ausgel podcast, where we bring the gel ball community together. Each week we have a special guest where we talk about what's new in the world of gel ball, be it milsim, speedball, and everything in between. Now, welcome to our host. Hi, I'm Dan from Ausgel.
I'm Cameron from the Gelsport Referee Collective.
And today we're going to have a chat with the leader of a new Illuminati in gel ball.
Confirmed.
All right, Cam, as always, mate, pleasure to have you here. Thanks very much for making the trip up.
Pleasure to be here.
Mate, so GRC, Gelsport Referee Collective.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about it.
So I originally, I was doing work with the Australian Gel Ball League. So Damo Guy from CQ Blasters bought
Damo.
They bought their format down to Southeast Queensland. They ran a couple of Battle Royales and they wanted to run nationals where they invited teams from interstate.
Yeah.
And essentially one of the trends that I noticed was that players didn't like reffing.
Yeah.
And also players didn't like being reffed by other players, especially players from that tournament. And so when it came to nationals, we organised a group of guys who don't compete. Some guys play gel ball. Some guys don't even play gel ball, but they have experience with refereeing sports. They have experience with dealing with conflict resolution and stuff like that. And I thought, perfect. Let's teach them a little bit about the game and bring them in. And it just started as the ref team for the AGBL Nationals. And since then, as a group, we've sort of taken that format to other places as well. So we've gone and we've done the Tactical Edge Gelsoft Australia's 3v3 speed brawl competition, which, to be honest, is actually one of my favourite ones to ref. And, we've taken it to over to Gel City, where some of our refs were involved with the finals of the Australian Speedball League over there as well. It's a little bit different to what people expect from us, if I'm being completely honest. Most people expect what they see in paintball, they expect what they see in airsoft, and they want referees hovering over people and stuff like that. And one of the big things that we noticed was something that I hate as a player is having a referee hovering over me, sweating on me. You know what I mean? So,
unless they're really attractive, of course.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's for after the comp. Essentially, between myself and the reason that we called it a collective is that it's not just me saying, I'm running this show, do this. The collective is, the idea is that there's a group of us who have, cumulatively we have years of experience between us. So we actually developed our refereeing system amongst ourselves. It was actually a group collaboration. We all built this together. So the system that we use for reffing is very different to what other people expect. Quite often we've been told that our refs aren't doing anything, and I can tell you 100% that they are. One of the things that I noticed as a solo referee doing casual gameplay was that if a player can see you, there's a good chance they're watching you to see what you're watching, to see where the other player is. And so you kind of, in order to not give away that player's position, it's a lot easier to watch from the corner of your eye.
Put on some poker glasses or something like
Pretty
that.
much, yeah. Basically something very similar to that principle. And because I've seen so many comps, and I've seen so many games where players have been given away by a referee. And not deliberately, not accidentally, and so we decided to develop the system around being as non-invasive to the players on the field as possible, while still being as fair and maintaining the integrity of the game.
It's good that you're thinking about that sort of thing as well, especially as the industry's maturing and the sport's maturing, because, chatting to a lot of competitive paintball players, I know that one of the things they say is, even though everyone wants to have the image of appearing as being honourable on the field, if a team has the opportunity to exploit a rule or cheat or do something that they know they can get away with and it's going to give their team an advantage, they're going to do it.
Absolutely. And that is a competitive mindset, and that is something that we understand, and it's not something that we necessarily target certain players or teams for, but it is something that we watch out for quite a bit. So we may penalise a team on something, and I can guarantee you that we'll get at least 2 more complaints about the same thing that we're penalised on. I've had it a couple of occasions where I've actually turned around to players who've made a complaint and said, you're pretty much just riding the coattails of another penalty.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, I've got it on video that they haven't done what you're claiming. So, let's just move on and keep playing. And and it's fair enough. It is a tactical thing for that team to do. It is something that they want to do in order to gain themselves the advantage. But at the end of the day, my take on the game and a lot of the guys in the collective share the same view, is that the integrity of the game stands above any integrity of any player, any referee. We consider ourselves just as accountable as the players that we referee, if not more. Because at the end of the game, our calls are the ones that affect the outcome of the game.
And when you got big prize money in some of these competitions now, I'd imagine that players can get quite emotional.
The competition gets fierce, and people get really emotional. They get really there's a lot of beef that happens on field, and then they get over it off field. Yeah. But when they're on the field, like, it is just,
they're into each other.
Oh, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But we understand that that's part of competition. That's just what it is.
Let's come back to the GRC then.
Yeah.
So, from what I can see, it's a body of people who have come together to referee events.
Yep.
So how does it work? Are you sort of only refereeing just a couple of fields, or are you open to refereeing at other fields, or can people hire you? How does this work?
So people can hire us.
Yep.
We have done work with various fields. We do have sort of regular jobs locked in.
Sure.
We are completely open for hire. If people want to hire us, they can, or they just want to hire a couple of us to supplement their referee team.
Yep.
So we can either supplement existing referee teams for competitions that are missing referees.
Yeah.
We can come in, we can run the floor for people. So one of the big things that we noticed was there's a big trend in the community of, those people, that particular brand owns that field and they have a sponsored team, and their sponsored team won the competition, and they've been refereed by that person's staff. Doesn't matter how fair that team won that game, it was corrupt. So we kind of offer the players the peace of mind that that's not going to happen, and we also offer the people who run the competition the peace of mind that I'll DQ my own grandma. I don't care. Like,
I'd like to see that.
There's no. I'll do it, Gran. You better look out. There's nothing, because, like you were saying before, with the legitimacy of the sport and stuff like that, people want to see more professional things, and that's one of the things that we want to push, because we also know that the milsim stuff is great fun. Yeah. Speedball's not my thing. I don't like playing speedball. Like midnight bushball.
You like dressing up to play speedball though?
Oh, yeah.
I remember those videos.
Yeah. Oh, there's probably more of them to come if I get some time. But as like milsim's fine, that stuff all has its place. But to say that we have this many leagues with designated rule sets, the rules are followed to the letter. Everything is very professional, very organised. It gives the sport legitimacy, and I think that one of the things that is extremely lacking in that is the existence of professional officials to run these events. And that's not me taking a poke at anybody at all whatsoever. It's just a gap that I see that needs to be filled, and I think that it would go a long way in helping the sport to sort of maintain and grow legitimacy across the
definitely
the nation.
So the next AGBL, I think Damo had mentioned something about next year sometime.
Yes.
Are you guys going to be supporting that one?
We are going to be running that one. So
excellent.
We volunteer our time for that one.
Yeah.
We don't get paid for that gig.
That's awesome.
And that's simply because that money goes to Wounded Heroes.
Yeah.
I've got guys who will only ref that event. They don't care about reffing at all, but because they know that there is a donation that goes to Wounded Heroes, they will completely clear their calendar and make sure that they're free on that day to do it. So
it's one of the things I like, especially with that event and what you guys are doing with the GSA and the Australian Speedball League at Gel City. I think it's good to have that relative anonymity with the refs, where they're not involved. Yep. I sort of see how it works in regional areas. I know that there's a lot of players that complain when, you know, it's the same home team winning every single event. You know, and look, it may be legitimate wins, not saying that they're cheating or anything like that, but, you know, from the perspective of people trying to get into the hobby, if they turn up to a field and all they're seeing is the field team winning, they're probably not going to stick around for too long, you know. But one of the things I like about what things like, you know, the AGBL, GSA and the Australian Speedball League all offer is the capacity for players to turn up, play in an event where the referees aren't competing themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's really good.
So we have had one of our referees has joined a competitive team.
Yeah.
And he did recently join us at ASL. They haven't.
Did you sack him?
I'm going to. He already knows he's getting sacked. I've already spoken to him about it. He knows.
There you go. Watch this space.
Yeah. Sorry, brother. No. So he knows that he knows that he can no longer referee, and he's okay with that. He knows that he had a choice between being a referee and being a competitive player, and he's chosen to be a competitive player. And best of luck to him, you know. And so as far as like that and stuff can get personal with what you were saying about seeing certain teams win all the time, and I'm the sort of person that can sort of switch on and switch off certain things. Like I often surprise people when they show up at competitions because they see me on the internet and they see me talking smack the way that I do, because I like to stir the pot. But as soon as I step my foot in that arena, I'm all business. Like I'm not interested in, like, I might have the odd couple of jokes, but I'm not interested in playing grab ass when there is, you know, the integrity of the rule set, the sport, the players, everything is on the line. I'm all business. I'm not going to mess around with that because that's more important to me than giving people a couple
because without that integrity, obviously GRC.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like if I was ever to have an event organizer tell me that they weren't happy with the job that we did, like I would gladly finish the day out as they wished, and I would basically tell them to not pay us.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really silly from a business standpoint.
New business tactic for anyone looking to hire these guys. Just remember at the end, tell them they did a bad job.
Tell us we did a bad job.
Yep.
And show us on video that we did a bad job. We did get challenged on that once, actually. We got challenged on that once. We got told that we weren't doing a very good job, and I said, I said, there's an appeals process, and you know, bring us some footage.
Yeah.
And next thing I noticed is that from pretty much every single angle that any spectator could stand in, there was a bunch of phones pointing at us.
Yeah.
And not a single piece of footage came forward. So, and that's just, I think, due to simply not understanding the system that we use compared to the system that they're used to. So I'm not knocking anybody else's system. Everybody has their own system. We found that if we're standing behind the player and to the side, it gives us more situational awareness of what's happening on the field. I can tell that there's 3 streams of fire coming towards my player. I can see where they're coming from. I know where that player is potentially going to get hit from. I'm more likely to catch that hit. If I'm standing side on to a player, I'm not going to catch that. They're not BBs. They don't make a big thwack noise. They're definitely not paintballs.
And they're definitely not hardened bloody glow gels.
I was just about to say that. Actually, I was just about to say that. He can make glow in the dark dice, but he can't make a glow in the dark gel.
You heard it here first.
So, it's just basically it's just a case of we've developed this system to be as minimally invasive. We don't want to give away the player. We'll be watching them from the corner of our eye. We will shift if needed so that we do have an angle on that player at all times. And we communicate. People don't know it, but we communicate. We actually have radios and stuff, and we are talking to each other.
Fancy.
Using hand signals, and everyone just kind of goes, you're standing around doing nothing. I'm like, well, if you watch the footage, you can actually see, if you ignore the players and watch the refs, you can actually see that we are actually working. And by the end of the day, we're exhausted by the end of the day. It's quite actually mentally taxing to be watching the player and not the game.
And I'd imagine, you know, that the GRC, you're not going to become overnight millionaires.
This does not pay the bills. It does not pay the bills.
And that's one thing that it's a point that I think is really important to reinforce is that even though you guys might be getting paid, you know, you're not getting paid to the point where it's going to influence, you know, any results.
No, not whatsoever. So, Yeah, there is an asking price that we do have. Some new competitions that we'll go into, we may be willing to work with their price and then negotiate with them later for our own price.
$10,000 per game. Yep.
Yeah. And if you want your team to win, it's an
not
extra
really.
$5. No, I'm joking. So we're not we don't ask a great deal. However, the asking price that we ask for is actually based on award rate. Award rate.
Yep.
Rather. We try and keep it. I want us to be able to say, okay, did a good day's work. I got paid a fair amount for it. Depending on the competition, obviously. Like I said, AGBL will volunteer our time for Wounded Heroes. But if players want to see more professional refereeing on the field, they don't want to referee themselves, they're going to have to be willing to pay a little bit extra on top, if needed, to pay the referees.
Speaking of which, you mentioned their Wounded Heroes. Now, I don't want to get too far into the controversy of rumours. We all know that there's currently rumours circulating around separations and stuff down there. However, the part that I'm mostly concerned with is, what does that mean for the future of the AGBL?
AGBL will be continuing at Wounded Heroes.
Okay, all right.
Well, we will be continuing to hire their space.
Yeah, excellent.
Although, like I said, like you said, there has been controversy, and we don't need to really get into that whatsoever. But yes, AGBL will continue on that field.
Excellent. All right, that's good. That's a good bottom line.
Yeah. So it's easy to follow. No direction changes there. Just we'll see you guys in April. So
excellent. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Can teams and sponsors and anyone else bring marquees and stuff? Do you know that much yet?
I would assume so, but I don't know. I don't know the details. There's been a bit of a shift in their staff, so we need to sort of establish a new baseline with them.
Yep.
So me and Damo have been talking over the last couple of weeks about that. So that'll be something that sort of information will be released about AGBL as we go.
Excellent. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, look, we'll start to wrap it up there. But before we do, is there anything you want to tell the players and the people that might be watching or listening?
Basically, I think the biggest thing is that I don't care who you are, who you're sponsored by, who you play for. None of the referees care. We care more about the integrity of the game. We're watching the player, not the game. You can be my best mate. I'll throw a red card at you. You can be someone that I don't like personally, and I will gladly referee your team to a victory, provided you play fair, you play honestly, and you play well. If you're going to walk home with any kind of gold medal, you are going to have to earn it, 100%. We don't cut corners on that stuff. We make sure that we're down the line. We do have appeals process. We do look at footage. We do reverse decisions. We know that we're not perfect. We are human. We miss some decisions. We've had to reverse a couple of calls. It happens at least once a tournament. I can guarantee it. If we could fix that, that'd be great. But we're continually improving our system based on the feedback we get from players. So if you think we suck, let us know.
Oh, well, that's all reassuring to hear. And what's the next tournament on the cards for you guys?
Is the Tack Edge Speed Brawl 3v3 on the 21st of November down at, I think it's Link Drive in Yatla. So
it's Gelsport Australia?
Gelsport Australia Indoor, yeah.
Awesome. Yep. All right. Cool. Well, mate, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming up once again. Can you please tell our listeners and viewers how they can find out more about the GRC and Kam Iqar Ze?
Oh, so Kam Iqar Ze you can find easily on anything. Just look for the guy that just talks smack. So you can find Kam Iqar Ze on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Currently, GRC has a very small social presence. You will find us on Facebook. You will find us on Instagram. There is also a phone number there as well. So if you want to contact us regarding anything, we're happy to ref, tournaments, casual games, whatever. Find that phone number, give us a call, and go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. And as always, I'm Dan from Ausgel. You can find Ausgel at www.ausgel.com.au, across all the socials as Ausgel, and at Ausgel Ammo on Instagram. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you later. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. It means a lot to us. If you enjoyed today's podcast, leave a comment or review below and hit the follow or subscribe button. If you have any questions or want to be part of a future episode, or even want to know more about Ausgel, head to ausgel.com.au to get in touch.